FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz. It's 2/27/19. We are winning. Yes, as far as the economy is concerned, as far as the price of precious metals, commodities, everything else. Wow. Have you seen the price of palladium? It's trading at such a premium to gold and platinum like never before. What does that mean? Well, as always, we have somebody to answer your questions. I'm talking about Ned Schmidt, and you find Ned, the Value View Gold Report and the Agri-Food Value View. Ned, always great to hear from you. What is going on with palladium here? I know you don't follow it much, but you must have an opinion.
More buyers and sellers.
But why? Why is that what I want to know? I heard rumors, and if you look on the web, type in cold fusion. If you mix palladium and deuterium, whatever the hell deuterium is, I thought they used it to make nuclear weapons. But if you mix the two and throw in a little salt and sugar, I guess, you get cold fusion. Maybe there's something there. I'm not saying that there is. I'm not creating a meme or a rumor. I'm just saying that car production alone and the shift from diesel in Europe away from diesel to internal combustion does not explain this gap. Maybe Vladimir Putin is playing games. I don't know. But in any event, let's skip palladium. Look at gold, and silver is lagging, to be expected. But gold is showing remarkable resiliency, isn't it here, Ned?
Gold has been, since the best way to measure the U.S. stock market is with the S&P 500 total return index, and that includes dividends. So it gives us an idea of what investors are earning. That index hit a high on the first day of October last year, and since then, gold and silver have done better than the stock market have, and the gold stocks have just been screaming. And what has happened is the stock market has faltered. It has become so volatile the last year that a lot of investors don't want anything to do with it. And they started looking for something else. Gold is something else. We're the other. And it's finally the other's turn to be in there. Now, what really kickstarted it, and what given Chairman Powell's testimony this week in Congress.
I thought you were going to say Chairman Mao. I don't know why. No. I thought you were going to say that.
And he may come back. I think he's still running the country.
Yeah, you think so? Herr Commandant, Mao had some interesting ideas, but not exactly a good guy, right?
No. He was in a race to see who could kill the most.
Yeah, and he almost won. I don't know. Did he beat Stalin or what? But hey, yeah. So we're in a race here. Something's going on profound underlying these moves. I don't think it's just happening because it's happening.
Well, the Federal Reserve has blinked. That seems to be the common statement. And if you listen to Powell's testimony, he testified yesterday and he's testifying this today on Thursday, is that, yes, we're going to watch it, and maybe if the markets don't do well, we'll do something. But what he didn't say is what's important. He didn't say they're going to tighten materially this year. That blinking by the Federal Reserve has killed the dollar. The dollar has now broken down. I measured it versus 11 other currencies, and it is broken down. Gold is an other currency. And so with the dollar now in a bear market, gold is appreciating. Now, let me bring something in here, Kerry, that other people aren't talking about, and that is the federal debt ceiling. We haven't talked about the federal debt ceiling in years. On Saturday, March 2nd, the federal debt ceiling comes back into play. whatever the size of the federal debt is on Saturday, that's the debt ceiling. And it cannot rise above that level till Congress changes the law. Mm-hmm. So that means discretionary spending at the federal government will be capped. And so the federal government spending is going to slow until Congress changes the law on the debt ceiling. What that's going to do is make the U.S. economy look softer. And that's going to give the Federal Reserve an excuse not to raise rates. The other thing they're going to do, probably in March, is talk about their balance sheet. They've been liquidating their balance sheet. They're up to about $450 billion of liquidations.
Hard to believe.
And they're going to moderate that. All of this means that the Federal Reserve has backed the needle off from tight money policy to ho-hum, so-so, we're not going to do anything monetary policy. That has damaged the dollar. That was the reason the dollar appreciated last year. That is going to help gold. So we've got the Federal Reserve and the debt ceiling working to help gold. The other thing is gold is simply under-owned.
I know.
Not enough people own it. And I think that you got to look to the gold stocks and say, what are they telling you? Well, they're telling you that the move in gold is good. I mean, stocks are a vote by people with their money. And the gold stocks, I looked it up this morning before we got on the phone, Kerry. The NASDAQ is up about 2% from a year ago. Remember, that's where all the fantasy technology stocks trade.
Mm-hmm.
The GDX is up 5% from a year ago. So we're starting to see investors move to gold, and we've had a move in gold. The low was this past year was last August. Intraday, it got down to about 1160, and we're 1324 this morning. So we're up essentially $160, $70 from the low. That's a strong move in any market. What that means is gold is going to have these periodic week or two of resting. And it's been in one of those week or two of resting. We hit a high last week of 1347. That cued some people to take some profits. I mean, it had run awful strong from 1160. It got near the popular resistance. Some people took some profits. Now, it's unwinding that excess enthusiasm, or what technicians like to call as an overbought condition. And it should have that unwound by Friday or Monday of next week. So we may be looking at another bottom of some importance in gold. If gold is in a bull market, which I assume it is, you're not going to get big sell-offs. You may get small sell-offs that if you're going to be a buyer, you need to take advantage of those. Now, silver, Kerry, I'm a little more optimistic, I think, on silver than most people. We need to change our thinking on silver. Silver has not been going down. Silver has been going up. And we've seen that metal move its trading range twice in the last few months. It was trading forever between $14 and $15. Then we moved up to $15 to $16, or rather $15.75. Now we're in a trading range of 16 to 16 and a quarter. I'm sorry, 15 to 16 and a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been moving up, and I think people are just simply too bearish on silver. And what that movement up in the trading range means is that people that have been buying silver have profits in it. And people that have profits brag about it to begin with, but they look to add to their positions. People like to buy things that they've made profits in. And so I think that the attitude on silver is too negative. It's still too negative. And unfortunately, we still have some traders that like to sell things on a dime, and they get punished. Like this morning, silver was off, 14, 15 cents. The buyers are just not going to tolerate these sellers coming in and trying to capture profits. They cut their bids. So you got to use these periods like silver between, say, Friday and Monday, look to be good times to get into some silver again. Mm-hmm. I think, Terry, my opinion is I think the gold stocks are confirming what's going on in gold. In other words, there's a lot of investors that won't buy metals, but they'll buy stocks because of the higher beta. And I think that's what's been happening. They're confirming this move into gold and silver with the stocks. Now, we've got a bunch of merger activity going on. I'm wondering, Terry, I don't know if they have time to mine gold or they're just busy paying monopoly.
That sounds about right. Well, you got like Barrick put in an unsolicited offer for Newmont that's contingent upon Newmont giving up their acquisition of Goldcorp. And, hey, it kind of detracts from the sector, all the financial shenanigans goings on, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't sound like Newmont is interested in talking to Barrick. But in any event, let's assume we got Barrick, which bought Rand Gold, and that symbol is now the old Rand Gold symbol, GOLD, mm-hmm. which is your largest company. Then you've got Newmont buying Goldcorp, which is GG. Mm-hmm. If, let's say that Barrick trade falls through, that Newmont offer falls through, I think that gives us four alternatives for an investor that doesn't want to become an expert on gold stocks. You got the two ETFs. The alternative to the two ETFs is to buy Barrick because of the Barrick being larger now, and are buying Newmont if it buys Goldcorp, because those two companies are going to be larger, have better mine situations. I think those two stocks would be attractive for institutional portfolio managers if they want gold exposure. In other words, they may pick Barrick and Newmont as proxies for the whole market. And so investors now, I think, are going to have four choices to look at the gold stocks. You may get just a little higher performance in Barrick and Newmont after the mergers are all settled than the ETFs. But I think that's going to give investors another choice.
It's interesting.
So things look like they're going our way. I mean, we had it going against us for so long. And, Kerry, if you go to websites that generic websites that do investment or investment oriented, you still don't see articles on gold.
No.
And it's still not. I mean, I'm not saying if, when, not if, we get to 1351, I think we're going to see money move into gold like we haven't seen in years past. That is such a giant resistance level on the charts that nobody can miss it. And while it takes longer than we always want it to, the popular resistance levels are always taken out, and then they become support levels. So I think if you're buying gold today, you got to think that sometime this year, 1350 becomes a support level for gold. And you're looking for a very good opportunity, certainly far better than you're going to see in the techno junk that they trade in the U.S. stock market. Yep. So I'm as bullish as I can get. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't sound that way this morning.
No, I don't think anyone would mistake you for a bear, Ned. And, but the stock market did rebound back quite a bit closed up over 26,000 on Friday. And maybe it's making another move for a new high.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Egypt is on the verge, once again, becoming a world-renowned gold producer. The Golden Age is being rediscovered. For millennia, ancient Egyptian kingdoms prospered from unparalleled riches. Pharaohs built their empires and flaunted their abundant wealth that was made possible by the country's resource-rich gold deposits. Despite this rich history, modern Egypt remains one of the most underdeveloped gold mining countries in the world. Aton Resources is at the center of the modern Egyptian mining world, diligently working both as the only public exploration company in Egypt today and as the advocate for mining reform with the Egyptian government. However, those that arrive early like Aton will reap the best rewards. Aton's discovery of the legendary Lost Mountain of Gold at Radruin and its current aggressive drilling program there could potentially reap those rewards. Aton Resources is focused on its 100% owned Abu Marawat concession in the Arabian-Nubian Shield, located 200 kilometers north of Centamin Sakari's world-class gold mine. Aton possesses first-mover advantage in the underfollowed jurisdiction of Egypt, which is currently undergoing mining reform. To stay on top of Aton's latest drill results and news, go to atonresources.com. Aton trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange under the ticker AAN and on the OTC under the ticker ANLBF.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Well, so what? I mean, new highs are nice. My money market account down at the bank makes a new high every month. Every month, when it gets an interest payment, it's at a new high. But the return is miserable. I mean, again, the NASDAQ is only up 2% from a year ago. The S&P's up 3%, or was before this morning. It's new highs sound good, but are you making a return? You know, you could end up like my money market account, where you're getting a new high every month, but you're not making any money of any consequence. And so new highs you need to be careful with them, because they may not mean you're making any return. And I think that's where we're stuck in U.S. stocks. I mean, if you look at the reports on what the hedge funds own, they all own the same thing. There is not anyone left in the world to buy Facebook or Apple. There isn't anybody.
Those broadly held stocks. Well, the algos buy and sell, your Citadels and all the high frequency fraud players. They just bounce them back and forth, right? Right.
And, if you hear these reports, oh, this manager is brilliant. He earned 20% so far this year. Yeah, but he's still down from September of last year. And, so, it doesn't make any difference what they did the first 9 weeks of 2019. What have they done for you for the last year? And it turns out for the last year they haven't done anything.
Not much.
Except collect fees.
Well, they're good at that. They seem to have mastered that skill.
That's the one beauty of gold and silver, is you don't have to pay fees once you buy it.
Yeah, this is true. Very true. And so now that we're through the metals, what about the ags? What are the agricultural commodities doing for us?
Right now, nothing. It's winter time.
Yeah.
I know, Karen, you're down in the southern part of Florida. You don't have winter, but it's winter. And it's also a low point for activity in the ag sector. In other words, we are in seasonal low periods for like chickens and hogs and all that. And everybody is waiting for some agreement by Trump and Chairman Xi on the trade tariffs. China says it's going to buy more grains. We'll see. China has a news blackout on any news on African swine flu, which has just decimated the pork industry. their favorite meat.
So they're getting desperate, in other words, right?
Yeah, right.
That's what it sounds when they block news about something that vital. And, people in China are not going to put up with that if they can't get 3 square meals a day, right? That's grounds for revolution there now. No more. Things are different there.
And we're in a low news period.
Yes.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture, Terry, once a month issues a big report called WASDE, World Agriculture and Supply Demand Estimates. Comes out about the 8th or 9th or 10th of the month. The one in February said nothing. The one in March will say nothing. At the end of March, though, we get something called the Prospective Planting Report. This is a guess on how many acres of grains U.S. farmers are going to plant.
And that one means something.
That means something. And that report will then be used for the April 9th WASDE. In that report, we will get the first estimates for 2020. And remember, Terry, in ag, we work on crop years. We don't work on calendar years. So crop year 2019 for us ends August 31st. September 1, we start 2020. That is going to be some market-moving numbers. And so we're going to see funds become active again later in March and into April. So we should get some action going in the prices of commodities there. And corn still looks like the best opportunity in the grains. I'm sorry, Terry, but your steaks are getting more expensive.
I noticed.
U.S. beef prices are just shy of a 52-week high. And that's because we're exporting a lot of it. Our exports of meat, when I say our, I mean the United States, are extremely strong. There's a lot of countries buying our beef and pork. The appetite for beef is extremely strong in some countries. And
but the stuff is no good for you. I mean, it's going to kill us all, right?
Well, something's going to do that anyhow.
Yeah, well, life is hazardous to your health. That's what I always say.
You might as well enjoy a steak. I mean, you're not going to fend off the inevitable. Only in California do they think if they ban everything, you're never going to die.
Yeah, but, there's a flip side to this. The more meat you have, the more cow flatulence you have, and that's going to upset a certain Congress female from the Bronx in New York. And, the only answer obviously, Ned, to climate change is just to shut everything down and let the chips fall where they may, right?
I think when they start banning cars.
And airplanes.
And airplanes. I think this person actually believes there's something that's called a solar airplane that you can fly.
No, it's a rubber band powered one. You wind the propeller up and then you let it go and it flies until the rubber band is back to normal, right?
Right. And then the Hawaiian senator finally figured out there's no trains to Hawaii.
Yeah, like when did that happen?
It took her a couple days to realize that.
What? No trains? So we'll have to take rowboats, right? I mean,
right.
The very notion of this thing is just absurd. You cannot turn back the clock of technology and industrial development and expect there to be a good outcome here. We're all reliant upon the supply chain, certainly for our nutrition and all of the necessities of life. And the supply chain cannot exist or subsist without energy and without burning. I don't like to call them fossil fuels because I don't remember the last time I was putting gas in the tank and had a dinosaur bone pop out. But anyway, these carbon-based fuels, let's call them carbon-based fuels, you can't have modern life without it. So if you don't want modern life and you want 80% or 90% of the population to die off, then maybe the green plan makes a lot of sense. It seems to me it's really a war on population more than anything else. Because, if those 747s stop flying, for instance, largest cargo jet out there, I know the A380 is bigger, but didn't catch on for cargo for a lot of reasons, and they're discontinuing it. But if you can't ship stuff on 747s, large portions of the world are going to starve to death, and large numbers of people will go bankrupt because they can't get their goods out to the marketplace. So this doesn't sound like a very well thought out plan, Ned.
I'm trying to be kind because we're
a family show
to the masses here.
This is a family show.
It's not thought out.
Yeah, it's moronic. It's just moronic.
That's what she learned tending bar. Let's face it.
Or in BU. I'm embarrassed to say that my younger daughter graduated a year ahead of her. Thank God she didn't know her, because her brain is contaminated enough with incorrect beliefs and thoughts. But that could have just put her over the edge. This one, I'm
sure glad you're the one that paid for that education.
Yeah, I sure did. And I'm still wondering what the heck I paid for. The good old Alexandria occasional cortex there. But my daughter actually worked hard, and, she was in the liberal arts program for the first couple of years, and they have the best liberal arts school, one of them in the country, with no grade inflation whatsoever, where she actually had to work. And best thing she ever did, even though she complained about this school because she couldn't get out of it and she didn't want to transfer out of BU. So she was stuck.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, well, hey, I just wanted her to become self-sufficient, which thank God she is. And Cortez there, she's self-sufficient now too, because she's on the public dole, right?
That's right. She's making more money now than she ever dreamed.
Hey, that's $174K a year. Ned, is a lot of tips, but they are going to have the knives out for her. But she's oblivious to all danger. She's like the soldier who just walks through a minefield, dancing from side to side without any regard that there might be a mine there that he might step on and blow himself to bits. And that's what she is like. She's stepping on all these really powerful people's toes. And they might, in public, give her accolades and praise and think she's the greatest thing ever. But behind the scenes, they are plotting her downfall, and she's not even smart enough to know it.
No, I don't think she is. I think she's oblivious to that.
You don't meet many people like this that just believe their own drivel. Usually you get blowback early in life, and your parents just tell you, this isn't the real world here. This isn't going to work, and you better rethink things. But obviously, she never got that feedback from her friends and family, and now she's just completely enraptured with her words, right?
Yeah, it seems like we've created a whole generation of these. I saw an interview of a recent college graduate complaining that she had $260,000 in debt and couldn't find a job. Well, the interviewer finally had the sense to ask her what her major was. It was Greek mythology. Oh. What in the world did this young girl think she was going to do with a degree in Greek mythology? Did you think Goldman Sachs was going to hire her?
Maybe if she got her major in Greek debt, she would have been more marketable. But it's important to say, Ned, you and I are both lifelong learners. We're not discouraging you from taking up liberal arts, okay? Because liberal arts is essential to the development of the critical mind. What we are saying is you need a strategy to monetize your college education, and majoring in puppetry or art history or even English, unless you plan to go into education, probably not going to get you there. That's all we're saying. Learn everything you can, because you got a short period of time on the planet, and the more you learn, the more well-rounded you are, the better you're able to deal with life. But don't learn for the sake of learning when it comes to your sustenance, right? That's what it really comes down to.
You're going to have, sooner or later, you're going to have to pay an electric bill. That's just back to life.
Hey, more importantly, forget the electric bill, because these millennials, they're somewhat nocturnal creatures anyway. You will have to pay your smartphone, cell phone bill. And believe me, if they turn that off, if they turn off your internet service, you are not going to be a happy millennial. So just understand that the skills you're learning today will enable you to one day pay your cell phone bill and your internet service provider. And that should be motivation enough, one would hope. Anyway, Ned, it's always great having you on the show. You know that. Go check out Ned's publications, the Value View GoldReport.com, the AgriFoodValueView.com. Ned, we will talk to you again real soon.
Okay, take care, Terry.
Oh, hey, before I forget, email us, kl@kerrylutz.com. Any questions or comments? Twitter feed @KerryLutz, Facebook page, Financial Survival Network. And you're listening to this on a podcast or YouTube, please subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. Really helps me a lot when you do that. It helps get the message out in the show. And hit that notification button on YouTube so you will always get notified when a new show gets posted. Ned, again, thanks. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Bye.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.